Hello, my lovelies. Welcome back. I am Jacqueline Joyce Revere, and I am a TV writer. We are claiming it, right? Okay. So I have some really great news for you guys, and the news is I got accepted into the Disruptors TV Writing Fellowship. For those of you who do not know me, I am a TV writer. You gotta claim it. I am a TV writer. I have a web series on my channel that I wrote in 2008 if you guys are very interested in seeing some of my work. Not my most recent, and I was contacted yesterday by a fellowship to learn that I am now a fellow, which is super crazy, which means I will basically be taking classes with a lot of notable people in the TV writing space. The writers and producers who are teaching my classes have worked on shows like Breaking Bad and Transparent and 6 Feet Under. And the most exciting part for me is learning that I will be learning from Rebecca Sugar, creator of Steven Universe. What? Like, I got into Steven Universe because of the podcast The Read with Crystal and Kid Fury, and reading that she is going to be one of the people mentoring me on my journey in this fellowship has got me like dying inside. I'm so excited because she's so fantastic. Also, we each get individual mentors. I'm not sure who mine is yet, but make sure to subscribe because I do post things that I'm not able to mention in my videos on the community boards. So if you do want updates on my super cool career moves, make sure you sub and hit that notification bell. So my fellowship will be over a 14-week period with different writers and creators will teach different classes, all basically helping us to create our own pilot. A pilot is the first episode of your series, and we will eventually pitch that pilot to industry professionals, just dumb, stupid, crazy to me, and also have an online reading of the script that industry will be present for as well. And the doors in Hollywood are shut super tight, and they're closed until you have someone help usher you in. Like, you must know people in order to move and to talk to the people that can move and shake your career. And so fellowships like this are super important, and they're also one of the few ways that, you know, people who aren't a part of the industry, whose parents aren't a part of it, get to partake in it, you know? So it starts May 7th through August 12th, so it's going to be for 14 weeks. The classes would have, of course, been in Los Angeles, but because of COVID, they're going to all be online, which is, hey, it means I don't have to leave the safe security of my house. No problems. So the purpose of fellowships, like I said a bit earlier, are to take people who are pretty close to being ready to write for TV and expose them to industry working professionals. So it's really about exposure and getting really good at your craft. Now, the requirements for this particular fellowship and requirements for most fellowships are, they vary some, but most are about the same. For this particular one, I sent in a letter of interest, a short bio, and 2 10-page samples of pilots that I had already written. For the letter of interest, I wrote about being a person who stutters. I knew that I needed to write a letter of interest that made sense for my pilot that I sent in. And my pilot was about a woman who stutters. And it was actually my first time writing something in such detail about a person with a stutter, and, you know, stuttering being a part of my life that I had to work really hard through to build my confidence up about. You know, it was really a challenge to go into those deep places and those deep crevices within this pilot, and also my personal statement. I really went to some deep places, and I think that's what a lot of these fellowships are looking for. And I never really explored stuttering in any of my other work. Well, okay, so I did a small skit. It's called Stuttering It's called Is Stuttering Contagious? It's actually on my channel. I'll link that for you guys also. But I wrote that when I was a baby writer, and I didn't really understand what I was doing or what, you know, character development was and all that. But you guys can check that out. Man, you guys have a history of my work on here. That's crazy. All right, so I say all of this to say, write what you know, but also write what scares you, and write what you don't, and write what you don't know or don't understand about yourself, because through that journey you may figure it out, or, you know, it could spark that question in another person. I also think that it's really great to write about what you're ashamed of, because 9 times out of 10, someone else feels that same way. You know, what I've learned from this is that people want to hear the stories that frighten me the most to tell. And there was a point in time where that story frightened me, and now that I've actually gotten it out, it's not so scary anymore. I'm like, oh, that, pish posh, you know? Oh, I didn't point out yet that they're paying me. Not only are they having me take these classes with these super fantastic people in the industry, they're then giving me money to do it. Like, what? But let's get back on topic, because your journey is your own, you know? I have friends who are writers' assistants and showrunners' assistants, and some are even staff writers, and I have been up for these positions, and usually, you know, because I'm a caregiver also for my mom, I wasn't able to take these jobs, or I was never hired in these positions because my job history did not reflect my actual skill level, because I've been home taking care of my family. And so, you know, it had been really hard trying to open these doors for myself in this industry, and I feel like I'm taking at least very small steps to get closer and closer and closer and closer to that place. So that's why I really wanted to just kind of do this video, because I know that it's such a treat for me, but I know that it can also be incredibly inspiring for you guys out there. Because I've absolutely had my moments of just feeling stuck and falling apart, and I understand what it feels like when your situation seems impossible and no one thinks that your situation is possible, you know. But like, if this is something that you want to do, I have a list of things that I've done consistently for the past 4 years that have gotten me to where I am now. However, my most important tip is at the very end. So you guys know what you gotta do. You just gotta watch all of them. And they're all incredibly helpful. These are things that I still do as a writer who's in a fellowship, who's a fellow, as a fellow. These are things I still do as a fellow. Hello. So these are the tips that have gotten me basically to where I am right now. And the first one is read scripts. If you want to be a TV writer, read TV scripts. Sometimes I hate reading scripts. When I first started out, I used to hate reading scripts, and it takes a while to get used to. And so I started with shows that I like. I started reading 30 Rock scripts because I love that show, and it made it more fun because I remembered the episodes that I had already watched, and then I can see how it went from paper to the screen, you know? But you guys have to read scripts. I read a few scripts a week now. I'm also part of a writers group, and so I'm reading scripts that other people are writing weekly to then exercise my critiquing muscle and figuring out why something's not working, or why this character, why I don't care about them, or so on. My second tip is to write down everything. I think of this more so as respecting your ideas, which I feel is really important, because every time an idea comes to me, I stop, I take the time to write it down, which reinforces the importance of my ideas and my thoughts. I sometimes have to stop people mid-conversation and go, wait, hold on. I need to write this down, or I do a voice note, or, you know, I find pen and paper. It's really important. It's really important. If you guys want, I have a list of ideas. If you guys want me to read those to you one day, maybe I will. Writers groups. So I've been a part of a few writers groups. Some I liked, some I did not, some were inconvenient, but I recently found a writers group that fits me really, really, really well. We're all women, and all the women in this group pretty much consistently end up being finalists or semi-finalists in the major network fellowships. So it's a group of women who are basically at the top of their game when it comes to writing. And iron sharpens iron. So find like-minded people and be consistent. You have to. Another thing that I do, I read books on writing. I listen to podcasts on writing. I watch master classes on writing. I talk to people about writing. Writing is my life. I am immersed in the world of it. So immerse yourself. Another thing I do is I make my own stuff. I make my own content, like right now. I think getting behind the camera and getting the experience of making Crescendo, which is my web series, really taught me all of the aspects that go into making a film. Like, I had to choose the composer, which also means I had to know the feel of the story that I wanted to tell. I had to reshoot things to make sure that the story made sense. I was in the editing room looking at edits and re-edits and so on. So it really forced me to have an immersive experience with creating that series, which is so important when you want to create an entire series from scratch. Another thing I would say, you have to work on sets, helping other people. You build your connections through working on sets with other people. And every industry is smaller than what you assume, so make sure that you don't burn bridges, or, you know, try your best not to. Sometimes you don't have any choice. I burned some bridges. Being on set is about helping other people out because they will be more inclined to then help you out. Also, you need to learn how to do as many roles on set as you can because making a good film takes a lot of skill and a lot of people, and you may not have the people, so at least have the skills. Another one, make your own shit. I'm gonna say this more than once, and there's more than one reason to make your own shit. Another one is industry folk don't necessarily always want to read a script. So if you have something you can just show them, that'll definitely get you a tad bit further. Like I said, baby steps. Everything is one step. It's all inch by inch by inch. Another thing that I've done is I joined Facebook groups geared towards TV writing. I'll list a few here. There's a lot of people in there. I've done script swaps with people in there. They post a lot of interesting, hopeful articles, you know, and so, like I said, you have to literally immerse yourself in this because people move to LA to be in Hollywood. They give up their entire lives, and so when people come here, they go super hard. Of course, listen to podcasts. Here are some of my favorite podcasts that I listen to now, still. Another thing that I do is I take writing classes. I have an MFA and I still take classes. I take like 2 classes a year because there's so many ways to learn to do the same thing. Another approach might help you. Also, you can learn new tools for your toolbox, which is why I take classes is important. Also, it's a great place to network. I've met a lot of my writer friends in classes, people who I've done projects with. You just have to make sure that you're, you know, immersed. That's the word, immersed. Note swaps. Get notes on your scripts. I don't pay for note coverage anymore, though if you're new and you don't really have enough people in the industry who know how to critique a script, you may need to pay someone. But after a while of being in this world, you'll meet people that you can swap scripts with, friends, and so on, and give notes to each other. It's very helpful, and it also helps you learn how to read scripts and find flaws and so on. Another one, what was it? Make your own shit. Make your own shit. I honestly think that a part of the reason that I get some of the opportunities I get is because not only because I have something that represents me that's on the internet, but also because I have videos of me talking about who I am, and it lets people have a personal understanding of myself instead of just reading it on a piece of paper. They're like, oh, she seems like not a horrible human. And so that just, you know, it makes my chances a little bit better, just a little bit. The final one, which is the most important one, which is the one that I had to practice myself. But when people ask you what you do, if you are a writer, say you're a writer. I claim it like it's my job. And they may ask, oh, what did you write on? And I say crescendo on YouTube. Another reason to make your own shit. Okay. You have something to point people to when you claim it. But also it confirms it for yourself. If you're consistently working towards it and confirming it to yourself, it has no choice but to actually come to pass. So I appreciate you guys for watching. If you stuck it out to the very end, you are a trooper. I appreciate you. If you want to see the web series that I wrote, it's right here. I'm not sure where we're gonna put it. It'll pop up. If you're more interested in hearing about me being a caregiver to my mom, I'm just gonna pop that up somewhere too. I appreciate your faces. Stay tuned, because I'm gonna let you guys know what this wild ride is. I'm a fellow. Fellow, hey fellow, hey fellow.